highly suspect. These events should concern everyone in this room.
Highly suspect.
All right,
These
it looks like
events should
Courtney doesn't really want to
concern
go
everyone in
there
this
with
room.
I think
that
she's
question.
blanking, so I just was wondering
They
how
just
everyone's
came
doing.
in.
Hello, Courtney. Have we lost you?
Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
To say technology beyond our comprehension does not exist in this world is to deny the evidence. This footage that you're looking at here is widely accepted to be authentic. Recently, we put out a video pointing out the existence of clones and androids, and yet some people say this cannot be, which of course is not surprising given the average intellect of the sheeple these days.
At this stage, it would be safer to presume that the entire system is under the control of dark forces from another world. It would be safer to presume that the entire system is under control of dark forces than to assume that greedy people are looking to deliver you some sort of utopia. You think the rich are getting richer to help you out? Have you seen California? Have you seen San Francisco? Have you seen what they're doing to the country? Have you seen what they're doing to the place? Do you think these people are here to help you? Ladies and gentlemen, Pay attention to the metaphysics. Pay attention to the faces in the clouds. Pay attention to what's going on out there. There's a common theme to this murder, death, kill society that we find ourselves in. There's a common theme to the music, to the movies, to the politicians. Ladies and gentlemen. Who caught the Cersei Lannister crisis actor at the impeachment hearings? How about the dude behind her? The minder, the demonically possessed, the undead out there watching your every move. Did you see him flip into character? And all of a sudden you see these devil horns show up. If this is not the most Exorcist messed up thing that you've seen on live television lately, let us know. But we've got plenty of footage of Stranger Than Fiction News, broadcasting live from the dark side of the planet. Is this not the best show on television? Let us tell you why, ladies and gentlemen, because we're not connected to this dark matrix. And anybody that's not connected to the dark matrix is pretty much off the air, out of business. They don't want people talking about what's going on. The Hillary clones, the Westworld, and the like. The strange phenomenon showing up. We're going to get into that. What does it all mean? But at this stage, it's safer to presume that these people are out to get you than to assume they're here to make the world a better place. And if we've got to spend a whole lot of time convincing you of that, we're not going to get anywhere. And it's an idea that people really have to wrap their minds around completely. These people are not here to bring you a utopia. These people have come to bring death. Ladies and gentlemen, they're poisoning the food, the air, the water. You better act accordingly out there. They're trying to stomp out your religion. They want to ban the Bible. They're bringing in the beast system. They want to assimilate you. They want to plug you into the matrix. And the 5G is the first step to their utopia. It's been declared a national security priority to jack you into the matrix. Death towers coming everywhere. And I think that the most difficult thing to convince people of in this day and age is that these people on the television, they're not your friends. They're part of the control system. They're another control in the system. And you see how people are just fighting each other out there. It's rather weird considering what we're up against. Imagine an army from another world has come in, body snatched countless people, replaced people with clones. The ones you see on television, these politicians, undoubtedly, they're clones, glitching and twitching everywhere. We've got the footage. It's not these people, you don't think. But who's to tell how many people have been taken over by this dark matrix? The numbers that we get are staggering. That might make you smile out there, but you shouldn't smile when you think about what's going on the television. And it's not just the lies in the open. It's not just the Gladio B events and the like. But it's what they're doing to this country while everyone is distracted. And that's the worst part of all. People aren't even seeing it coming. It's like when the natives were invaded by the Europeans. They've never seen ships like that before. They had no idea what was on the horizon. And we're on the event horizon right now. We're on Route 66. We're on that highway to hell, and that's why everything is looking the way it is out there. We've gone from the Brady Bunch, Leave It to Beaver, to whatever it is in this zombie apocalypse. And, you know, you can call this conditioning or psychological operations or indoctrination or whatever, but it's a national emergency. It's like the zombies have risen and are taken over. I don't think anybody's ever seen such a failure in leadership in the last 20 years. One catastrophe after another, based on false pretenses, with the specific intention of murdering as many people as they can while getting away with it. And that's really the main theme of this cult of death, is that they're out to kill as many people as they can get away with through the soft kill programs. And the numbers are staggering. Life expectancy is going down. Given all the scientific progress, you think it would be going up. And it's only going to continue to go down as they roll out the next steps of their final solution. They've turned our cities into concentration camps, ladies and gentlemen. Agenda 21. They've herded everybody into the cities, promising them jobs and entertainment. And while people are being entertained, they're being dosed in every way imaginable. It's a national emergency. And you'd think they would, do something about it. Instead, they're just rolling out more death towers. They're telling you they're building a wall, yet, not a single mile yet. And if anybody gets too wise, they whack them like Epstein. They whack them like Seth Rich. They whack them like the inconvenient witnesses that they are. And when you see the injustice in our system, the kangaroo courts, the politics these days, the whole system is a sham. It's become a sham. There's no real justice in America anymore. It's all a political witch hunt. And whoever's cronies are in office, the other guy is going to get it. And look, we'd all like to see the libtards, imprisoned or deported. Take your pick. But that really isn't a free society where, it's mass arrests and, mass incarceration and the like. I don't think that's where anybody wants to be. But as you can see right now, the Democrats, Democrats, have weaponized everything they can get their hands on. And all they have to do is attach the word, Russian to it. And all of a sudden they got themselves a witch hunt. All of a sudden they got themselves a story to sell. And that's all it takes. Any story will do. The boogeyman from the other side of the planet is out there exposing Hillary's dirty laundry. And all of a sudden we should be, concerned about espionage. There's a saying out there, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. And these people certainly are criminals, and they're just pissed that they got busted. And that's it. And ever since, it's been payback. And I'll tell you what, payback's a bitch, but when you look at what's really going on out there, it's not even worth our concern. Let the Russians be. Let these other people be for the time being. We've got bigger fish to fry, if you will. Quite literally, the demonic invasion has taken over, And if people aren't paying attention, they won't see the demons walking amongst with them. And they're everywhere. Most take human form, but you'll see shadow people in broad daylight. If they phase out of their host, of their camouflage, you'll see them. Ladies and gentlemen, most people can't see them because they're neither strange or unusual. But a trained eye can see a little bit of what's going on. And many of these, cult members, devil worshippers, and the like have, acquired that skill to a certain extent. These people believe in something. They've been totally taken over. And for them, there's no going back. The question is how far do we let this outbreak go? How far do we let these people go? They've taken over the schools. They're, grooming your children for demonic possession. Literally. You hear the kids screaming out there like they're possessed. Behavior, let's not even talk about children's behavior out there these days. Or young people, or even adults. But, the moral fabric in our country is in total free fall. And I think it's best to recognize that. Every day now it seems like there's a mass shooting. And, there's something that could be said about that as well. But there's definitely a direct relationship between the anti-Christian propaganda we see in our society today and the rise in violent crime and just, otherwise Sodom and Gomorrah behavior. Immoral behavior. Wickedness breeds more wickedness. Evil breeds more evil. And that's why people used to try to put a stop to it, but now it's like they celebrate it. Who can be the more wicked? Who can be the more perverted? Let's give them the biggest mansion. Let's make them the next Epstein or the next Clinton or the next, pick your character on TV. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to recognize that the politics that we see on television is a diversion put out there by a demonic force from another world. Now, this security footage was taken during the Burgas bombing in Bulgaria about a decade ago. It killed quite a few people. And we originally did a broadcast on Faces from Another Dimension. Feeling that, situations of this nature where there's mass murder will somehow, manifest some demonic, fixer or overseer, if you will. And we catch it from time to time. What are these spirits? What are these demons that we see out there, ladies and gentlemen? It's hard to say. Just like that. But there is the common understanding that fossil fuels are remnants of previously living materials. That gases or essences or vapors represent perhaps something else. If you go to a liquor store in Europe, they call their hard liquor spirits. You ever seen anybody high on spirits? They get all red, all drunk, all aggressive and angry or stupid. This might be besides the point. A lot of this methane, natural gas, fracking that's out there is bringing, all sorts of vapors and evil spirits to a location near you. That might seem strange and unusual, but nothing is as it seems out there. And just because you call it gas or methane doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what it is. This is a cult of death that's pumping death from the ground and making everything with it. And, that's just the beginning of the conversation. In any case, if you really want to know more about what's going on out there, from a scientific perspective, you should check out the documentary Unlocking the Mysteries of Life. And it steps through how DNA is really the prerequisite for life. No DNA, no proteins, no micro machines, no life. DNA, it turns out, is a programming language that contains megabytes of information, even for the simplest form of life, the very first form of life. Megabytes, an encyclopedia's worth of information. It doesn't just spontaneously evolve from primordial soup. You don't get Shakespeare from Scrabble letters on the table, ladies and gentlemen. And if you really want to know more about how it started, check out the book of Genesis, chapter 1. Lots of things to think about given the situation, but it definitely looks like a constructed reality. It definitely looks like a matrix out there. And that's really just the beginning of the rabbit hole. The Bible is your gateway to higher understanding. It's your foundation. It's where you build your house. And people that follow that path certainly have a much better vision of the world compared to those that are lost in darkness, that have been body snatched by the demonic. It's very important to keep your armor on as it's described in Ephesians. Otherwise, you're just a city without walls and a vessel for unclean spirits. Spirit cooking, they say. How ironic indeed. But that's the underlying theme to what we're seeing out there. And, it became obvious after the WikiLeaks, after the Pizzagate, and the discovery of Marina Abramovich and all of these celebrities and the politicians and the occult, and it just really solidified the entire narrative. That it is the epic struggle of good versus evil out there. That it is the pages of the Bible playing out before your very eyes. And, people need to act accordingly. You're not fighting against greedy liberals or Republicans that, are trying to deliver their idea of a better world or a utopia. They're trying to deliver the beast system. They're trying to deliver the Georgia Guidestones. They're a cult of death that wants to destroy everything in creation. And if they could, they would. And this is why they've been pushing for World War III with whoever they can for as long as anyone can remember, because their aim is world destruction. And you want to trust these people to erect death towers in your neighborhoods, near your schools, on every corner? You must be out of your mind. Now's the time to sign up for, your city council meeting and have a discussion about 5G and fluoride in your town and vaccines. Start slowing down these eugenics programs and put yourself on, solid ground. But this is a war, and these people have declared war, and they're attacking you right now. If you had a meter, you'd see it. You'd see what you're getting dosed with right there in your home. It's not just the death towers, and it's not just the radiation, but you definitely want an EMF 390. Check it out on our website, stfnreport.com. Only 109 ships worldwide made in the USA, detects electric fields, magnetic fields, and death towers, ladies and gentlemen. 0 to 10 gigahertz, which is, a much broader band than most other EMF detectors out there for a fraction of the price. So you want to check that out. And most of the 5G is running between 3 and 5 gigahertz. So there you go. Check that out, stfnreport.com. Getting back to the big picture, the assimilation, the Terminators, the Robocops, the Matrix. And, this beast system attempts to replicate creation in a synthetic way. They want you eating synthetic foods instead of natural foods. They want you looking at virtual reality instead of the real out there. And the whole world has become an illusion just to keep you distracted from the big picture. And we can't stress enough, don't trust these people on television, no matter how much you like what they have to say. No matter how much they've gotten you involved in their mind game. Pull out. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl that just buys into the television like the other sheeple out there. You woke up after 9/11. You've seen all of the documentaries. There's an orgy of evidence out there. It's not your imagination. But to now go back to the television and start screaming somebody's name from the TV is nothing less than idol worship, and it'll bring you nothing but misery. There's a reason that these people are related, that they're all, pictured together. And it's because it's one big club and we're not in it. And this club is all about genocide. It's all about World War III. It's all about exterminating you and, just kind of like BSing their way through it, like the Prince Andrew interview that everybody saw yesterday or the day before. These people are just, crooked and corrupt on every level. And they'll just lie, until the very end. They'll never confess. They'll never tell you the truth. So don't expect them to start telling you the truth about these death towers or about the vaccines, the vaccine injuries, or about, what's really in the food or the water. There's a reason it says poison on the fluoride. It's not your imagination. They're dumping it in the water. And everybody's seen the video and they're just like, hey, let's go online. No shit. Let's go online. People should be acting accordingly. And it won't be long before you start seeing people bulldozing down these death towers or using them as target practice. It's inevitable because one day or another, people are going to get it. People are going to remember what they woke up to. You think about how quickly people forget, and it brings us right back to the Bible. After Moses delivered, the chosen people from the Egyptians, pretty much right away, they're making a golden calf all over again. No matter how many miracles, no matter how many times it's in your face, people just stray back. They go back to doubt. They go back to, the dark side. Don't be that sheeple. This war is real, and we need everybody on the front lines. Everybody's involved, whether you like it or not. Nobody asked for this war. Nobody asked for this nightmare that we find ourselves in. But we are called to act, and complacency is an act. To not act is an act. To just sit there and enable this system, repeat the lies even though you know better, even though you know it doesn't make sense, even though you know there's some things that are wrong with your guy or your girl or whoever you're rooting for. Sometimes, it's just inevitable that we get involved. one way or the other. We were going to go somewhere else with that, but I feel like we're just going to leave it there for this broadcast. There's so much more to say about, you know, these clones, these demons that are out there. But you can see them. And, you know, you can train your eyes to start seeing, you know, the world a little differently. And this kind of gets into, you know, auras and remote viewing and stuff that really isn't prescribed anywhere. But you can see these things. And, you know, knowing that they're out there is half the battle. Every army uses camouflage, and you've got all sorts of, you know, creatures out here that have been playing this game for thousands of years, perhaps longer. There's little we know and much that we don't know about the full scale of this invasion. But again, at this stage, regardless of everything else that we said, just, you know, at this stage, remember this. It's safer to presume that the entire system is under the control of the dark side, rather than think that somehow these greedy people that you see on television, these politicians, are going to deliver you some sort of utopia. You know, you look at the commies out there on the West Coast, and they're all preaching, you know, socialism and social justice, and, you know, look at their society. You don't want to be like them. And you know, everybody's promising you the moon, but they're not delivering anything exceptional at this stage. People want to argue if we're better off today than we were 4 years ago. It may look like that on the television, but in the last 4 years, they've filled quite a few gaps when it comes to, you know, their Skynet, their RoboCops, their Matrix, and the like. And the next 4 years will pretty much complete the gap, and you'll see the RoboCops. You'll see people getting plugged into the Neuralink, or, you know, some other kind of passive neural network. And then where will you be? The pyramid on the back of the dollar bill represents the bondage that we were freed from. It represents New Babylon. It represents New York, if you will. That's the whore of Babylon. It literally is the pages of the Bible playing out before our very eyes. And if we don't break up this beast system, if we don't abort the Skynet now, we literally will be living out the book of Revelation. In this lifetime. It's almost there. We're almost to the end. Do you really want to step over that cliff, or do you want to try and give humanity a little more time out there? If you all feel like committing mass suicide like Jonestown, let us know in the comments. If you feel like fighting back, let us know in the comments. Like and share. Check out our website, stfnreport.com. Be sure to support our cause. We're listener supported. Patreon.com/STF News, if anybody's interested out there. The more subscribers we get, the more shows we can do. Video guy is not happy right now. He hasn't been paid in forever. So, you know, we're trying to get a new video guy, among other things. So there you go. STFNreport.com. Check us out. Until the next time, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.